Mr. Contest Master, fellow Toastmasters, and most importantly, our distinguished guests. I'd like to give you an illustration of a trip of a lifetime. I was in college and I was invited to a wedding in New York City. I'm an alumnus of Florida State University, so we traveled to the airport to connect in Miami because there were no direct flights. Go figure, from Tallahassee to New York City. I was going with a group from our temple, which included the rabbi, his wife, their, at the time, young child, and 3 fellow students. I'll call 2 of them Sam and Randy. Sam and Randy were dating at the time. Randy was a little bit, shall we say, controlling. Things weren't going to plan. They were late getting to the airport. We missed our connecting flight. And the entire time, she was nagging. There's an old saying that, why does a husband die before the wife? Because he wants to. We get to New York City, and the rabbi says, we have a cab waiting outside. I say, great. We get outside to the pickup area, and I said, where's our cab? He looks at me, and he goes, over there. I see an off-label, short, older Jewish guy with a white beard. Brings us over to his beaded car. Get inside, he's driving down the street, he's talking on his cell phone. You can't do that in New York City, so he blows through a red light and gets pulled over by the police. The cop comes up to the driver's side and says, I need to see your license. He looks at the cop and says, I don't have one. In addition to, the rabbi's wife had an infant child in the car with no car seat, and we had too many people in the cab. Cop says, I'm going to let you go, only you can't drive. So I was sitting in the front seat. So I switched from the front seat to the driver's seat. We continue driving. We get to our destination, and my friend comes out and gives me a puzzled look. He's kind of scratching his head. I said, what's wrong? He goes, how do you come here on vacation and you're driving the cab? Needless to say, what's even better and more puzzling is how we had to pay for the cab. The weekend goes on. Sam and Randy are still fighting, which even made for a more pleasant trip. We go to the wedding, have a great time through missed shuttles, through missed commitments, and so forth. The night of the wedding, afterwards, we go back home, and the wedding ended at about 1 a.m., and we had a 5:30 flight in the morning. I go inside to the place I was staying and kind of fall asleep for a little bit. Sam is talking with our host, who's essentially talking him off the ledge because he was about to jump. And I'm kind of in and out of consciousness. 4 o'clock rolls around, and my phone goes off. I get up, I take a shower, I pack my bags, and I spend about 30 minutes getting ready to go to the airport. The rabbi calls and says, we're here, we're downstairs. I'm like, okay. Walk into the other room, and I say, Sam, I said, it's time to go. The host jumps up and says, wait, you don't have anything to eat. He goes, I'm sorry. He goes, but after the Sabbath, since we didn't cook it all this whole weekend, I didn't make anything for you. He runs to the fridge, opens it up, aside from milk and ketchup and hot sauce, he has a watermelon. Takes the watermelon, it's cut in half, a piece of saran wrap, passes it to me. I said, what am I going to do with this? He goes, take it, eat it. I go downstairs with my bag and my watermelon, and I find at the end of the street the rabbi driving in a car, a Toyota Prius. You have the rabbi, his wife, her brother, an infant child, me, 4 bags in a small car. I'm clutching my bag and my watermelon. We get to the airport. I'm like, oh dear God, we finally made it. Go through the ticket agent. Ticket agent looks at me and she goes, what's that? I said, what do you mean? It's my watermelon. We go through TSA. Get up to this checkpoint. TSA looks at me. She goes, what's that? That's my watermelon. Okay. Get onto the plane. Flight attendant looks at me. She goes, what's that? I said, it's my watermelon. She goes, what are you going to do with it? I said, I'm going to eat it. Long story short, we ended up flying home, ate the watermelon, and the moral of the story is Sam and Randy are now married with 3 kids.